No, I mean, I want everybody. I love this sport. And, he's tweeted about wanting to go into boxing. We got him on the FaceTime right there in the ring. And I said, yo, can you get out of your contract? If he can get out of his contract, then let's run it. And so when I asked him that, he had a pause. He looked at his manager. These guys aren't their own bosses. So I want all the smoke. But at the end of the day, will Dana let him out? That's too big of a risk if I could embarrass his #1 praised fighter right now.
The fight between Jake Paul and Alex Pereira has been officially confirmed. If you're concerned about the differences in their fighting styles, there's no need to worry because the bout will take place in a boxing ring where both fighters have agreed to compete. Interestingly, many people believe Jake Paul has the upper hand in this matchup, with expectations that Pereira might end up on his knees and ultimately get knocked out. If you were shocked by that, I completely understand. You must be one of the many people who are currently thinking this must be a nightmare. Jake Paul, who only recently transitioned into boxing after gaining fame on YouTube, is now being seen as the favorite in his upcoming match against Alex Pereira. This sudden shift in perception is surprising to many considering Paul's relatively short time in the boxing world compared to Pereira, who has a solid background in combat sports. But why is this happening? The reason for this is that Jake Paul, as many would argue, has gained considerable experience in boxing compared to Pereira. Despite his relatively recent entry into the sport, Jake has fought against seasoned boxers and has shown remarkable progress in his skills and techniques. While it may take him several more years to reach the level of the greatest boxers in history, his current abilities make him a significant threat to Alex Pereira. This is particularly noteworthy considering that Pereira, primarily known for his accomplishments in the UFC, has most of his experience fighting inside the octagon rather than a boxing ring. Jake Paul's dedication to his training regimen and his strategic approach to selecting opponents have allowed him to build a credible track record in a short span of time. His victories over experienced fighters have not only boosted his confidence, but have also made him a formidable contender. Transitioning from mixed martial arts to boxing involves adapting to a different set of rules and techniques, which can be challenging even for a skilled fighter like Pereira. The dynamics of a boxing match are distinct from those of an MMA fight, and this difference could play to Jake's advantage. You and I both understand that fighting inside a boxing ring is vastly different from competing in the octagon. The rules and restrictions in boxing require a distinct set of skills and strategies. For instance, in the boxing ring, you are not permitted to use kicks or other techniques common in mixed martial arts. The focus is solely on hand-to-hand combat, which is why it's called boxing. You exclusively use your hands to strike your opponent in the octagon. Fighters can employ a variety of moves, including kicks, takedowns, and submissions, making it a more diverse combat environment. However, this diversity means that transitioning to boxing, where the emphasis is on precision footwork and punching technique, can be a significant adjustment. Boxers spend years honing their craft, mastering the art of throwing punches with speed, power, and accuracy while also developing strong defensive skills to avoid getting hit. Now poses a lot of problems for Pereira. You see, this UFC fighter is known for his wide array of kicks. Every move he makes in the octagon often involves kicks, and you could argue that his kicking ability is what has made his whole career flourish. Kicks are integral to his fighting style.
No, I mean, I want everybody. I love this sport. And he's tweeted about wanting to go into boxing. We got him on the FaceTime right there in the ring. And I said, yo, can you get out of your contract? If he can get out of his contract, then let's run it. And so when I asked him that, he had a pause. He looked at his manager. These guys aren't their own bosses. So I want all the smoke. But at the end of the day, will Dana let him out? That's too big of a risk if I could embarrass his #1 praised fighter right now.
And they have been a significant part of his success in mixed martial arts. However, in boxing, where kicks are prohibited, Pereira faces a significant disadvantage. Removing this crucial aspect of his skill set would render him less effective inside the ring without the ability to use his powerful and strategic kicks. He will have to rely solely on his punching abilities, which may not be as developed or refined as those of a dedicated boxer like Jake Paul. This limitation could significantly impact his performance and make the fight much more challenging for him. So, will this be an easy win for Jake Paul? It might very well be. Alex Pereira, while undoubtedly one of the most intimidating fighters in the UFC, faces a significant disadvantage in the boxing ring. His skills and strategies, which heavily rely on his powerful kicks, will be rendered ineffective inside the ring where only punching is allowed. Pereira may find himself struggling to adapt like a cat, merely following the lead of its shadow. But despite this, even Logan Paul, Jake's brother, found it hard to believe that his younger sibling was calling out the scariest man in MMA. Immediately following Jake Paul's victory over Mike Perry with a stunning round 6 knockout, journalist Ariel Helwani approached him to ask about his future plans. And yes, the unimaginable happened next. Naturally, we all know that Jake Paul is set to fight Mike Tyson in November, but he continues to call out other fighters after his own matches. With an undefeated record against UFC fighters, the problem child has now decided to challenge the reigning king of the UFC. And we don't mean Conor McGregor. We're talking about Brazilian light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira in response to Jake Paul's challenge. Pereira posted a video showcasing his boxing skills, stepping out of his sports car with confidence and precision. Although the fight has been confirmed, some critics are still voicing their opposition. They argue that based on past behavior, it is highly unlikely that UFC President Dana White will allow Alex Pereira to fight Jake Paul in a boxing match. They believe there is no way the UFC head would risk letting one of his top fighters step into the ring with a boxer who has already knocked out multiple former UFC stars. In fact, the only fighter who has truly made Jake Paul struggle is a Brazilian legend, Anderson Silva. If Jake Paul is to face significant challenges from a UFC star, it would undoubtedly be against Alex Pereira, who is also a world champion in kickboxing. This match presents Jake Paul with the opportunity to fight an athlete of his own weight class who possesses devastating punching power. According to reports, Dana White might actually permit Alex Pereira to fight Jake Paul, potentially with the intention of having Pereira deal a significant blow to Paul. This move is surprising and suggests that White might harbor a strong aversion towards Jake Paul. It's notable that White would consider allowing one of his top fighters to compete in a setting that is not Pereira's usual environment. White has a high level of confidence in PR's abilities and implies that White believes a seasoned boxer like Jake Paul won't stand a chance against someone with PR's natural talent and sharp instincts. Former champions Henry Cejudo and Kamaru Usman shared their thoughts on the situation on the podcast Pound for Pound. Cejudo, a former double champ, discussed the potential incentives Dana White might have for allowing Alex Pereira to fight Jake Paul. Although Kamaru Usman seems firm in his belief that the fight won't take place, he does acknowledge the entertainment value. Jake Paul refers to him as a snake. Paul Usain, also known as Triple C, admits that he doesn't want to see the YouTuber on his social media platforms now. Regardless of what others might think, the match has been officially confirmed. The only uncertainty remaining is who will emerge as the winner. Who do you believe will take the victory? Share your thoughts in the comments below.